Whoa. Straight off of Avatar, guys. Who knew Avatar based on a true story? I have to experience this. I have to. The forest of bioluminescence? How cool is that? And there's more than one species of firefly? I thought it just was the green ones that pop up around June and July. But they got different species of fireflies?
Like, I've seen bioluminescence, but not like this.
The bioluminescent mushroom. Imagine a cluster of mushrooms that glow an eerie green in the forest at night.
Damn, that might be my new favorite flower. I've done that before. When I was a kid, took a firefly. You know, you spell your name or whatever with the shirt on your shirt. RIP to those fireflies that I sacrificed as a kid.
So I'm going to show you how these lights can be used to put thoughts into your brain, sending information through the lights and manipulating our behavior. We used to be mind controlled in a more positive light through the campfire. We would stare at the campfire and we would tell stories, and this would go into our subconscious mind. But we would stare at the light, and this switched to us being in front of a television with the flicker rate flickering, putting us in a hypnosis stance. They choose the flicker rate on purpose because they could choose any flicker rate, but the flicker rate that they choose puts you in a deep hypnotic state, which makes you suggestible for programming, proving that the blue is more powerful. Like I said, Blu-ray disc, Bluetooth, and then the upcoming alien invasion, the fake alien invasion under Project Blue Beam, which will use laser lights to show holographic images of aliens. Now scientists can make holographic images able to be touched.
It's crazy. Just like this, Men in Black Blue. You better lock in and buckle up, bucko, because you're in for another creepy and scary TikTok reaction video. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button, because we're diving into the creepiest, strangest, weird, disturbing discoveries and theories all over YouTube and TikTok. These disturbing and scary theories might just change your reality and make you stay up all night. Without further ado, let's dive into these waters.
So now we learn from the Bible why your map is upside down. Hello out there. In this video, I will be showing you that the East and West that we know of today is different from the East and West in the Bible. Now, this is the first incident in the book of Enoch where I almost gave up on trying to figure it out. I actually put this down because I could not understand it. But the Most High has encouraged me to pick it back up, and He gave me the understanding by opening up a candle of understanding in my heart. And now I will be sharing this with you, and it's coming from the book of Enoch. It says, and at the ends of the earth I saw 12 portals open to all the quarters of the heavens. These are the four right here. 1 quarter, 2 quarter, 3 quarter, 4 quarter. These are the 4 quarters of the earth. All right. And it said 3 of them are open on the face, which is the east. All right. This is the face. This is it saith this is a head. This is the dome, and it's looking at you. So this is the face. So, and this is the back of the head. This is the ear on this side. This is the ear on that side. Let's just use that as an example. So we have the east. This is the face. All right. It says 3 of them are open on the face, that's the east of the heavens, and 3 are in the west. All right, 3 in the west, and 3 on the right, which is the south. See, we have 3 on the right, all right, of heaven, and 3 on the left, which is the north. That's the left, that's the north. Now already, when we look at this map or this chart, we see something strange going on here. So if we turn it like this, and we have the east on this side, which we normally look at, and we have the west on this side. Notice that the south is up and the north is down. Therefore, the east and the west is correct through here, but the north and the south is incorrect according to the way we think. But this is the Bible. So even if we turn it this way and put the north at the top, like we're normally used to seeing it, and the south at the bottom, we have the west on the east side and we have the east on the west side. So where are we going with this? Well, remember all of those videos online when they show the eclipse coming from the west? We see it coming from this way, or same thing here this way. It is actually coming from the east, because the map has the north at the top and the south at the bottom, and this is biblical. So the eclipse is actually coming from the east, and we think that it is coming from the west, but it is actually coming from the east. So it is coming from this way, which is the east, and it's going this way, and as you can see, America's right here. So we see this eclipse coming from this way, and it's coming from east to west. I'm going to leave that at that. God bless you. Have a great night or day. So now we learn from the Bible.
That is interesting. I honestly don't know which way the eclipse was coming, but it sounds like that brother is on track to where it is.
There's cities underground, there's warehouses underground, there's actual homes underground. People build these tunnels, and they've built them for decades. There's a lot, and elite celebrities, they go down there for parties. Underneath the Getty Museum in Los Angeles, California. I was there for a cock party. We walked through the museum, through the garden area, and employees led us to underground tunnels. We had to take an elevator and stairs. We had to be led. There is no way that you can just walk into a tunnel. The entrances and the exits are in your face, but there's no way that you can just walk through tunnels. You'll get stuck. You'll go deeper and deeper, and you won't be able to come back out because it's hard, because the tunnels run all different directions for miles and miles and miles and miles. So if you go down the wrong one, you'll get stuck, and it's confusing to turn back around and get back to where you're going. So you have to be led in and out. I think people assume that when you get underground, it's just this dirt, and you keep going deeper and there's more dirt, and then there's cages. No, that's not how it works. The Playboy Mansion. The Playboy Mansions. I met some really elite people when I was there. I had to do jobs with some elite celebrities.
I'm a psychic medium, so I actually, every time I walk past his house, and obviously the Playboy Mansion's right there, and we know about the tunnels that connect from the Playboy Mansion.
To here?
I'm sure they connect here. Why wouldn't they?
There are places that connect, so what kind of energy? What kind of energy are you picking up?
There's just darkness. I mean, in general, I've always had weird feelings on this street.
Yeah.
This type. Well, the Playboy Mansion's down there. So I always thought it was the Playboy Mansion. It wasn't until probably a year ago that I realized this was Diddy's house.
I cannot believe what went on under it. Playboy magazine reports it has just discovered blueprints for a network of tunnels beneath the mansion that supposedly led to the homes of Jack Nicholson, Warren Beatty, James Caan,
Will you watch your step,
and Kirk Douglas. Now dig this. A photo from the late 70s allegedly showing an excavation in progress beneath the mansion. And this one shows the newly discovered tunnel plans. Check out the bunny logo on the plywood wall. Best of all, the blueprint. It says this tunnel leads to James Caan's house. This one to Jack Nicholson's. This one to Kirk Douglas's. And this one goes all the way to Warren Beatty's house.
What is it with these underground cities and tunnels? What are they working on?
So can you guys take a wild guess as to what actually happens when you trap an air bubble in a vat of water and pass a sound wave through it? It creates an...
This is solemn science. We know all about this. We covered this in my older videos, but it's definitely worth to watch it.
artificial star. The bubble collapses upon itself and starts producing light. How could this be? How is this possible that we can produce a star from passing sound through water? So that must mean that the stars have to be something completely different than what we're told they are. They can't just be giant balls of gas and fire combusting in the empty vacuum of space. Nothing can combust in the empty vacuum of space. And if you say grateful and loving words into water and then freeze it in time, it actually produces beautiful geometric patterns. But if you freeze water after saying hate or I'm gonna kill you, it actually creates disgusting, distorted patterns. Because everything in the universe is light, sound, and frequency. The length of the sound wave produces a different frequency when passing through the light photons. Nikola Tesla knew a lot about this, and he understood that our universe is infinite energy. Do me a favor and just look up cymatics. You can produce stars through passing sound waves through light and water. Of course, I'm making all of this up. Of course, the stars are big balls of gas and fire combusting in outer space when you can't combust anything in the empty vacuum of space. And have you heard of the term as above, so below? Jellyfish communicate through light and sound frequency. That's what bioluminescence is. And fungi communicate to each other through light and sound frequencies. This isn't animated. This isn't made up. This is completely real. They use different resonant tunes to communicate with each other with light. Light, sound, vibration. Wow, that's insane. So the entire universe is made up of light and sound vibrating at a specific frequency. Of course, this entire video is satire. I made all of this footage up. None of it is real or based off of any scientific research whatsoever.
I actually didn't know there was a bioluminescence forest. That's new and fascinating. We got to dive into that. Bioluminescent forest. You could barely see it. Whoa. Straight off of Avatar, guys. Who knew? Avatar based on a true story.
The bioluminescent mushroom. Imagine a cluster of mushrooms that glow an eerie green in the forest at night. These bioluminescent fungi use their internal light to attract insects, which spread their spores. They create a magical and slightly spooky sight on the forest floor. The bioluminescent mushroom.
Fascinating.
So, this is what we see with the naked eye. And this is what the camera sees with a 30-second exposure.
Boy, that camera was dirty.
Becomes brighter as the fungus digests the tree. When fungi have fed sufficiently, they develop their reproductive organs. Some feed on dead plants, others eat them alive, and some reveal their existence in an eerily beautiful way. In Africa, in the Congo, this is known as chimpanzee fire. The mysterious bioluminescent glow becomes brighter as the fungus digests the tree. When fungi have fed sufficiently, they develop their reproductive organs. Each can produce literally billions of spores, the tiny particles that carry the species' genetic blueprint. Each spore, like this, has the potential to kill a tree, becomes brighter as the fungus digests.
Damn, chimpanzee fire. How interesting is that? I have to experience this. I have to. If this is real, I have to see the bioluminescence forest, and I have to travel to wherever this is.
Last week I was walking around my friend's property trying to take pictures of a rare species of firefly known as the blue ghost, and I found something peculiar. A tree glowing in the dark. At first I thought my eyes were deceiving me, but they weren't. A small sapling that had recently been cut down was actually glowing a bluish green color. But it wasn't magic or paint that was causing it. It was a fungus. The foxfire fungus, to be exact. The bluish green glow is caused by luciferins. And luciferins are a type of substrate that produce light in the presence of oxygen when they react with certain enzymes. Luciferins are responsible for bioluminescence in almost all species that produce light, including the blue ghost fireflies my friends and I were trying to find. So while we didn't find those elusive fireflies, we did get to see something else that glows in the dark and learn about the mechanisms behind bioluminescence, which is still pretty cool. Last week I was walking around my friend's property trying to take pictures of a rare species of fire.
What was it called? Luciferins? And what was the fireflies called again?
Firefly known as the blue ghost, and I found something peculiar.
The blue ghost. I want to see that. Damn, my marker dried up. I need a pen, y'all. Hold on. Look at how fat this pen is. You know, I got really big hands, so this should help. Oh yeah, this is great to grip. Firefly. I believe that's what she said. Luciferins and blue fox firefly.
Peculiar. A tree glowing in the dark. At first I thought my eyes were deceiving me, but they weren't. A small sapling that had recently been cut down was actually glowing a bluish green color. But it wasn't magic or paint that was causing it. It was a fungus. The foxfire fungus, to be exact. The bluish green glow is caused by luciferins. And luciferins are a type of substrate that produce light in the presence of oxygen when they react with certain enzymes. Luciferins are responsible for bioluminescence in almost all species that produce light, including the blue ghost fireflies my friends and I were trying to find. So while we didn't find those elusive fireflies, we did get to see something else that glows in the dark and learn about the mechanisms behind bioluminescence, which is still pretty cool. Last week I was walking around my friend's property trying to take pictures of a...
Damn, we didn't even see it. She didn't even show it, did she? Let me see the name of this firefly and then we're out. Blue ghost firefly. I'm going to show you guys the blue ghost firefly and those foxfire fungus she barely showed us.
Last week I was walking around my friend's property trying to take pictures of a rare species of firefly known as the blue ghost, and
I wish I had friends that could tell me about this type of stuff. A blue ghost, firefly, the foxfire fungus, luciferin, you know, it's like I feel ashamed that I had to go to the internet and find this stuff when I wish I could have knew it about my entire life. You know what I'm saying? I'm just now finding out about this stuff. The forest of bioluminescence. How cool is that? And there's more than one species of firefly. I thought it just was the green ones that pop up around June and July, but they got different species of fireflies.
It'll be all over here. Oh my god! Holy Look at this. Wow. Like, I've seen bioluminescence, but not like this. That is insane. It's like something out of Avatar. I'm just having a bio moment. What? Watch this. Oh my god. I'm playing with the water, sorry. It'll be all over here.
How beautiful is this earth, man? You don't need Avatar to see that beautiful. What was the planet called? Pandora. You don't need to go to Pandora. We got that stuff right here on Earth. This happens in real place.
قرارة بس على البحر. قاعد تشوفون الظاهرة؟
Those scorpions? They look like they're glowing in the dark.
If you encounter this phenomenon at the beach, get out of the water immediately because you really don't know the dangers that lurk within. This phenomenon, emitting a mysterious blue glow, is called a bioluminescent beach, also known as Martian tide. It is a rare natural wonder. Worldwide, it has appeared in fewer than 10 countries. According to marine biologists, bioluminescent beaches result from a type of bioluminescence caused by countless plankton that shimmer with blue light. This magical microorganism is called dinoflagellate. Dinoflagellates are a very primitive type of single-celled algae. Their cells contain luciferase, and here's how they look magnified. Under normal circumstances, they can be found in both freshwater and seawater. This rare phenomenon is the result of the collective power of countless dinoflagellate cells. When they are subjected to external pressures, such as being hit by waves, they emit light, similar to fireflies. If you're lucky enough to encounter this, it's advised not to make direct contact with exposed skin, as the dinoflagellate cells can attract a large number of pathogenic microorganisms, which might infect humans through any cuts or wounds. While this beachside spectacle provides a romantic visual feast, the underlying issues it indicates should raise concerns. It's one of the early signs of marine eutrophication. If left unchecked, it could lead to an explosive growth of dinoflagellates, resulting in red tides. Once these dinoflagellates, represented by organisms like Noctiluca scintillans, proliferate and die in large numbers, they will greatly deplete the oxygen in the water, leading to the suffocation and death of other marine life, severely damaging the marine ecosystem. So, would you still dare to play in a heavily polluted marine area? If you encounter
Maybe if we wore gloves or had like some type of latex socks, bodysuit, I don't know.
Yeah! Oh my god! Bio dance. Oh my god! Holy sh! There we go. Oh shoot! Damn, look at that! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! It is getting better. Holy sh!
Sí, sí. Ya lo he intentado. saltamonte, un cricket,
Okay,
un grillo, something.
Oh, sí. Caracol.
It's called a semi-slug?
Semi-slug, yeah. Gyotis is the genus.
It tastes like a straw. Well,
Late night.
Look at the perfect swirl on that snail. Kind of reminds you of like a hurricane or something.
These are blue ghosts.
Damn, that might be my new favorite flower. Not that I had one before, but look at this. That is beautiful. What is it called? Deb's Fireflies. That's the name of this, Deb's Flower Flies. I love this. Now, something was a little concerning, that damn name. Luciferns? What is Lucifern? Luciferns is something that reacts with the oxygen that causes stuff to glow.
Light cells. What's the secret to its glow? In the 19th century, French farmers what's happening inside the firefly's light cells? What's the secret to its glow? In the 19th century, French pharmacologist Raphael Dubois, working with bioluminescent clams, discovered that there are two essential components to these creatures' light show. He named them luciferin and luciferase, based on the Latin term lucifer, for light bringer. Luciferin is the compound that generates light, and luciferase is the enzyme that acts on it. Today we know that the firefly's bioluminescent reaction plays out like this. A firefly diverts oxygen to its light cells through its tracheoles, and those oxygen molecules react to luciferin, catalyzed with the help of luciferase and energy in the form of ATP. The luciferin then becomes agitated and excited, elevating its energy level. And when the excited luciferin drops back to its normal state, it releases that energy in the form of light, creating the fire in fireflies.
This is such an interesting question. Could we eat the chemical compound that causes bioluminescence, luciferin, and glow ourselves? Sadly, as humans, no. Our abdomens are full of organs and our skin is way too thick for the light to shine through. So even if we did eat a bunch of fireflies, you still wouldn't be able to see the glow from inside your stomach or anything like that. I have heard of people catching fireflies and rubbing them on their skin to make it glow, but it's a really temporary effect and then the glow fades after 10 seconds. But smaller animals, like frogs, have skin that is very, very thin, so when they eat a firefly, the light actually does shine through their body for a little while, as seen in this video right here. Some animals actually don't produce their own luciferin and have to get it from other sources, like the bobtail squid, which hosts bioluminescent bacteria inside of their own bodies that let them glow. You can check out this episode of my podcast where I talk to Dr. Sarah McAnulty about these really cool glowing squids if you want to learn more. Keep the cool questions coming. I really enjoy answering them. This is such an interesting question. Could we eat
I've done that before. When I was a kid, took a firefly, you spell your name or whatever with the shirt on your shirt. RIP to those fireflies that I sacrificed as a kid. Oh my goodness. Lord forgive me. I still had time to play games, man, that skin goes hard. Look at how tight this skin is. I wonder if they still got this. What is this even? Call of Duty, right?
Done and dusted.
Yeah, that goes hard.
Templo de Satán Chile es un proyecto mixto.
Look at my watch. It says time to get moving. Not now. I'm doing a video. I like that my watch says that. It'll say it's time to get moving. I'm doing a video.
Templo de Satán Chile es un proyecto mixto.
She ain't talking about nothing. I guarantee you, she ain't telling you to repent. I guarantee you that. I call them succubus.
Scientists have just confirmed the existence of plasmoids. These self-illuminating plasma-like UAPs have multiple shapes and sizes. They're attracted to electromagnetic activity and have been filmed diving into the ocean, as well as hovering near space shuttles and satellites. They have explosive properties, negatively affect electronics, and mental activity, possibly inducing hallucinations of alien abductions. Scientists suspect that they are sentient and represent a fourth domain of life. After 14 years of extensive research, it is a conclusion that so-called unidentified flying objects that have been seen in our atmosphere are not spaceships from another planet, but are groups and masses of living organisms that are much a part of our atmosphere and space as the life we find in the oceans. It has been hypothesized that dusty plasmas in the thermosphere may have incorporated all the necessary elements for the synthesis of RNA leading to DNA and thus life. Scientists have just confirmed the
That's your thoughts below. Damn, is my mic working? It might be time to get a new mic, y'all. This is a slippery slope to be diving into. All this damn stuff I gotta navigate through on these waters to try to get some type of answers on Luciferus and Luciferin.
Is this. I decided that releasing fireflies would be my contribution to the environment here this year.
Using compounds that create the glow of a firefly's belly, researchers were able to image cells deep in the brain of this marmoset for over a year. Bioluminescence of fireflies comes from a chemical reaction in their lower abdomens. It's all based on an enzyme and a compound, coming together with a little oxygen and ATP. As the reaction goes forward, light is emitted. Now researchers have engineered a modified luciferase-luciferin pair that glows up to 1,400 times brighter. These improvements allow the detection of cells in living animals much deeper inside the animal and with more precision. The equivalent of detecting a single firefly in a space the size of a high school gym. They were also able to monitor the activity of specific neurons in mice in reaction to novel environments.
All I could come up with is this. I decided that releasing
reaction to novel environments.
All I could come up with is this. I decided that releasing
Testing. Yeah, this mic been through it, hasn't it? Much times as I've been slamming it off. It used to have a little piece right here to, but my older videos I had it, but that thing broke off. But we're gonna rock this till the wheels fall off. That's interesting. What are these light bringer, these black street lights popping up everywhere? Let me type that in.
Up with is this. I decided that releasing fireflies would be my contribution to the environment here this year.
So I wanted to show you the blue lights that we have here in my town in Iowa. They like to put the blue lights on the off and on ramps to the interstate. That's where I find a majority of these blue lights. As you can see here, what normal lights look like, and then all of a sudden, wow, look at the black light. Wow, look at how it lights up the ground purple. Wow, look at that. Wow. So I wanted to show you the blue.
Was she serious? Wow. Wow. She probably recorded that like 3 or 4 times. And she was like, all right, this is the last time I've recorded. I'm doing this U-turn. I'm turning around and I'm recording. I wasn't hitting record the first time. Wow, look at that. You see that? Wow. All right, I got it, y'all. I'm just playing, y'all. What's the harm in these blacks? I get what they can spot you, you know, but I thought it looked cool, honestly. Drop in the comments if I'm missing a major picture, but I think they look cool.
I've been saying that these purple lights are for users to not be able to see their veins. Well, this is a gated railway station that they cannot even get into. So let's do away with that narrative. You guys have been lied to. These purple lights are serving a far more serious agenda.
Oh, they said so users can't see their veins? Damn. That's a good thing, isn't it? Or am I tripping? I'm really missing the big picture here, y'all. I can tell, but that's a good thing if the users can't see their veins at nighttime.
And here we go.
The LED lights. We're seeing purple lights pop up all over the country in America right now. What's fascinating about these purple lights that they're calling a defect, and it's not a conspiracy or aliens or the government doing this, the news station is actually saying this.
Some thought it was some sort of discreet sign for law enforcement, the government, or aliens. No conspiracy theory behind the light.
No conspiracy. Exactly. No conspiracy.
The word conspiracy theory was coined by the CIA to make anybody who talks about the JFK assassination and an alternative outlook on it look like a nutcase that needs tinfoil on their head. But these purple lights showing up all over the place. The interesting thing about purple lights in blue, violet, is that it can hold the most data for mind control. There's scientific experiments with LED lights, as we see the LED lights being rolled out all over the world, not only for the Internet of Things, but these LED lights, there's scientific experiments proving that they can place false memories into people's brains and also control nanoparticles in the behavior of mammals and bacteria. They switched from this incandescent light bulb, which is nice on our eyes because it somewhat mimics the sun. Harvard researchers are saying there's a dark side to this blue light. This is why they make blue light glasses. But the reason it can store so much data for this mind control with purple and blue and violet that we see these lights popping up everywhere, this is why we have Blu-ray discs and Bluetooth, because blue can hold the data. So I'm going to show you how these lights can be used to put thoughts into your brain, sending information through the lights and manipulating our behavior. We used to be mind controlled in a more positive light through the campfire. We would stare at the campfire and we would tell stories, and this would go into our subconscious mind. But we would stare at the light, and this switched to us being in front of a television with the flicker rate flickering, putting us in a hypnosis stance. They choose the flicker rate on purpose because they could choose any flicker rate, but the flicker rate that they choose puts you in a deep hypnotic state, which makes you suggestible for programming. Mind control turned into behavioral mind control after the Pavlov dog experiments. So all the social media apps and the phones that we use, there's even programs coming out on neural governance, how it is mind controlling us, and there's people protesting it. Very smart people, not like myself, but like professors and doctors and stuff. Hacking our behavior via these apps, this is why they have gambling experts create these social media apps that we all use today. Over a third of the population is on these social media apps. So most of the world is using these and is in danger of having their thoughts taken over. But we're going to look into how these lights can control us, and maybe they already are. The movie A Clockwork Orange exposed the MK Ultra mind control techniques and had a famous quote, a bit of the old Ultra. But this movie showed how MK Ultra could use strobe lighting effects to put people under Mind control. The visible spectrum of light goes from the lowest hertz of red to the highest hertz of violet. Cops have red and blue lights because the red you could see during the day and the blue you could see better at night, proving that the blue is more powerful. Like I said, Blu-ray disc, Bluetooth, and then the upcoming alien invasion, the fake alien invasion under Project Blue Beam, which will use laser lights to show holographic images of aliens. Now scientists can make holographic images able to be touched. There has been scientific experiments where scientists can control algae via lights by placing a virus into the algae, which created new proteins so they could control the host via LED lights. Light-sensitive microbes communicate the same as neurons. Using lights allows the organism to be manipulated in actions and emotions. This could switch brain cells on and off. This is an experiment that has been proven to work. It's the first time anyone had managed to control brain cells with lights. The Smithsonian Magazine says telepathic communication with lights implanting thoughts into people's minds is within reach. And this has been successfully done decades ago on mice. Using lights to control the brain is called optogenetics. Triggering or implanting memories via light. Scientists can activate or shut down neural pathways, altering behavior. This is mind control via lights. Optogenetic stimulation can activate fear memories. A specific memory is encoded by neurons which can be manipulated, stimulating them with light to control them by implanting memories. Just like the neuralizer we saw in the movie Men in Black. Men in Black had that little flash of light on the neuralizer and then they gave you a false memory. Well, these movies being rolled out in the 90s, that is what's happening today.
This is absolutely blowing my mind. Blu-ray, Blue Beam. This, I get it now.
Done with mice. They have implanted false memories into mice brain. Pokemon sent 700 kids into the hospital and they were all having seizures because of this hypnosis flickering of light. The Weeknd had a music video which was banned from movie theaters because of the strobe lights. Wireless optical electrodes can deliver light to neurons in human brain, enabling us to erase memories, just like the film Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Companies have created devices that allow you to control lights with your thoughts, where you can turn a light on and off by thinking about it. Tiny injectable LEDs manipulate the brain with light. It's a tool to manipulate the brain in living tissue. This is all real scientific research that I'm telling you about right now. Not only can they plant memories and thoughts into people's brains through these light bulbs, but also they can control nanoparticles throughout the body with the light. New method to control nanoparticles with lights and magnets. Light particles that can be manipulated with magnet tracking the position of the nanoparticles in a body or a cell. Light control of silver nanoparticles. Metal nanoparticles have interaction with light, which can control the heart of a human. So the question I ask, is this happening right now?
And you guys got to think about it. That Microsoft Coke deal with Nano, what if they trying to implant everybody with these nanoparticles and then they just going to have these giant blue lights everywhere for them to just take over? That's what I'm thinking, y'all. That is crazy. Just like this, Men in Black Blue. Just when I thought this was going to be a peaceful, bioluminescence episode, this took a turn for the worse. The Men in Black Blue Flash, Blue Beam, Bluetooth. Oh my God.
Technology that everyone needs to know about is nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is basically the outer edge of material science. It's the point where matter gets manipulated at a very, very small level. The fact that it's 1,000,000 times smaller than an ant. Right now the focus is on creating very tiny machines that can build other machines. These machines are also programmable, meaning they can be used to produce more of whatever you like. And these nanobots are so small, they can pull apart almost any material. Soil, air, water, atom, by atom. Currently, there are nanoscale additives in clothes that never wrinkle, never stain, and even fold themselves. We even currently have a nanoscale 3D printer that is capable of producing miniature batteries less than a millimeter long. Nanotechnology is even being used to create new smart contact lenses. Contact lenses that'll bring augmented reality into everyday life. Also, drug delivery nanobots are right on the horizon. And there's so much more this technology can do. The technology that everyone needs to know about is nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is basically the...
What happens if someone can hack this technology? What happens if someone uses this technology for bad?
Developments is that nanoparticulate matter can be stabilized for distribution. If you're not aware of what nanoparticulate matter is, it's that matter which exists on a scale of 1 × 10⁹. Very, very small. Smaller than a cell. And we can manufacture materials that have discrete properties that can be controlled by virtue of bioengineering and their physical chemistry. To auto-aggregate, to be able to aggregate in particular areas based upon their biological and or chemical sensitivity. But now we go one step further. Most recently, just a few weeks ago, it was announced that you could then aerosolize nanomaterials. And go one step further, I can create small robotic units, controllable robotic units at the nanoscale, and that these too can be aerosolized to create a nanoswarm of biopenetrable materials that you cannot see, that can penetrate all but the most robust biochemical filters, that are able to integrate themselves through a variety of membranes, mucous membranes, and wherever, mouth, nose, ears, eyes, can be then uptaken into the vascular system to create clumping, can affect the vascular system of the brain, or can directly diffuse into the brain space, and these can be weaponized. And they can be done in such a level that their presence is almost impossible to detect, and as such, the attribution becomes exceedingly difficult to demonstrate. How much of this material would I need? Take a look. This is the front of my pen. This amount of nanomaterial, if be able to maintain and sustain with regard to its deliverability and aerosolization, could in fact affect all of you, or based upon where I come from, New York City, all yous. Look at this. Look at this. I'm carrying that material. Would you see it? Would I have to lug a giant weapon into the room? No, I wouldn't. And what if, in fact, I utilized some form of an unmanned aerial device or unmanned ground device as a delivery vehicle? Something like a drone or a bug. Could I do something with that? But let's keep going. Could I also utilize a whole host of devices to be able to affect individuals close in, for example, during interrogations, during social engagements, during human terrain team engagements, or more remotely, in a room, in a theater, in an airplane, in a bus, in a store, in a mall? The answer is increasingly yes. So this then represents for us both a challenge and an opportunity. The challenge is that increasingly what we find is that neuroscience and technology is relatively easy to obtain. Many of the things that I've just spoken to you about are viable and obtainable directly to the consumer or directly to the scientist. We also know that many of the products that are available direct to consumer can be easily modified to create things that have a much higher weaponization potential.
We're going to need anti-nanoparticles. That's what it sounds like to me. Who's creating anti-nanoparticles? We need something to combat this, don't we? Your thoughts below.
It's a project first dreamed up by the military to get information from the battlefield.
They call it smart dust, and the new technology may soon make it possible to keep track of anything, anywhere, including you.
Smart dust originated with DARPA back in the 90s. This powder-sized chip is something called the Mu chip from Hitachi. It's the smallest commercially available RFID system in the world. You can literally scatter this stuff like dust or embed it into a sheet of paper. It doesn't require a battery. Flecks of computing power settling on your skin, ingested, monitoring you inside and out.
The nanoparticles are designed to go under the radar of the immune system, and so they are undetected in the body.
We have computing everywhere, we have connectivity everywhere, we have infrastructure that can compute those with new capabilities like AI.
If you have enough data and you have enough computing power, you can understand people better than they understand themselves, and then you can manipulate them in ways which were previously impossible.
Transhumanism is a growing movement that aims to use technology to modify our bodies, sometimes in radical ways to make them stronger, faster, and better.
They putting smart dust in the cola. I'm telling you, man, they gonna hit a switch, and the people that ain't drinking cola, it's gonna be Terminator all over again, man. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Let's discuss what exactly CRISPR is and why it's such a big deal. CRISPR actually stands for Clustered Regularly Interspaced Short Palindromic Repeats. And that's kind of a lot. That's why people just call it CRISPR. But CRISPR itself, it's actually just DNA. And it says it in the name, they are short repeats of little sequences of DNA. But who cares? Well, bacteria do. Just like us, and pretty much every other living thing, bacteria get viruses. There's a specific kind of viruses that bacteria get, they look really cool, and they're called bacteriophages. These crazy looking spider viruses will attach onto bacteria and actually insert their DNA into the genome of the bacteria. Which is great for the viruses because all of a sudden the bacteria reads its own DNA and is like, oh, look at this. I need to make more viruses. Obviously, this is not good for the bacteria because what ends up happening is those viruses pile up in the cell until the cell breaks open, spewing viruses everywhere. So the bacteria have come up with their own defense against bacteriophages. It's pretty difficult for bacteria to fight off the actual attacking virus, but something they can go after is the DNA that it puts in its own genome. Bacteria create these special kinds of proteins called Cases. You're probably familiar with Cas9, but there's actually a bunch of them. These proteins are able to learn parts of the DNA sequence that the virus is inserting. It's similar to our own immunity, how we take vaccines, because it prepares us for viruses coming in the future. Let's say a bacteria gets some sort of bacteriophage virus, and now it's infected with the DNA from that virus. These Cas proteins will identify sections of this new DNA and commit it to memory, so that next time the virus attacks, the bacteria can defend itself. There are tons of naturally occurring variants of these Cas proteins, and in labs scientists are making even more, but essentially they work like this. The virus will insert its DNA into the bacteria, and these proteins that have been trained to pick up that exact sequence will be like, hey, there's DNA here, we gotta go attack. So these proteins latch onto the invading DNA and cut it up into a bunch of pieces, rendering it entirely useless. The fact that Cas proteins can not only cut DNA up in different ways, but can also attach onto very specific sequences is what geneticists are exploiting. Scientists are taking these Cas proteins and figuring out how to not only make them in the lab, but also change the actual sequences that they attack. So this started off with being able to cut DNA and maybe change one nucleotide. But this has been going on for years, and research has gone very far. There's now a specifically engineered kind of Cas protein called a prime editor, which can not only cut DNA wherever it really wants, but it can insert new genes. You can see why this is a big deal, because up until now, editing genomes has been extremely difficult and not very precise. And now all of a sudden, it's just a matter of improving these biological processes meant for bacteria onto pretty much any organism we want, including ourselves. There are already FDA-approved drugs working in patients right now that rely on CRISPR. And the way a lot of this works is they will take stem cells out of a patient with a certain disease, take them to the lab, change the genome so that it's now working or functional or whatever the issue was, and put that back in the patient. And as I've discussed, the applications go way beyond just the medical field. You can use this in agriculture, aquaculture, pretty much anywhere where there's biological life. Imagine being able to look at the genome of an animal, decide what it is about that animal you want to change, and then literally going and doing it. Not only is that possible, but we're doing it right now. Welcome to the world of CRISPR. Absolutely, let's discuss what exactly...
Did you guys hear that? Prime editor allows them to cut DNA and add it as they wish. Oh my God.
But CRISPR is different. CRISPR is not adding genes, it's actually changing your genetic makeup permanently. But it works in humans. You can correct sickle cell anemia and fix that. That one's a little easier because it's in the bloodstream. Trying to fix Alzheimer's with CRISPR is going to be a lot more challenging. The blood is easy to access. And so I would say in the next 5 years, it'll be fairly common to fix genetic diseases with CRISPR. And then things get really interesting when we start to fix things that aren't genetic. Maybe we want to all fix our predisposition to diabetes. We could potentially go in and fix that before we actually get that disease and make up for not having great genetic lineages.
Would you, if you put a time horizon on that, what would you think something like that would be?
Well, probably for the healthy people, it's going to take longer, right? Doctors would rather do no harm than do good. And so that's probably 15 years away from being mainstream. And the way we do it is we put a CRISPR system, which is an enzyme that you can direct to change the DNA with a barcode. So our DNA has different letters. There's 6 feet of this DNA molecule in every cell, and there are these 4 letters, A, C, T, G, and they're in different sequence. And what CRISPR does that's kind of incredible, if you think about it, is that you can give it a code that says, go find the sequence that's A, T, G, C, A, G, C, and it'll find it in billions of combinations in that 6 foot and go in and just change that.
Incredible.
It is. It's a barcode. But CRISPR...
They keep throwing this crunchy chicken. Listen to that crunch. I'm just trying to find CRISPR. Oh my God.
Okay, y'all, I just blew my nose and I'm looking at it under the microscope. And I spotted this. I'm like, okay, this is on a slide with nothing on it under dark field. And watch what happens when I try to focus it. Sorry, I'm having to hold this with my hand. I don't know what the heck they're trying to get in us, but... And I haven't had the jab either, so... I don't know what the heck that is. Anybody got any ideas? Okay, y'all,
They got you. They put a Snow Globe 2000 in you. CRISPR edition nanoparticle. I'm sorry.
When we look into the past, there's a clear record of people who have lived a much longer lifespan than what we have today. We have to wonder if these beings weren't given or had access to some type of nanotechnology that fuels the idea and understanding and our drive today to be like the gods.
And this important nanotechnology is something that extraterrestrials and other advanced civilizations would already have. And it would only make sense that if extraterrestrials are coming to our planet, they would have brought this nanotechnology with them.
When we look into the past, there's a clear record of people who have lived a much longer lifespan.
I'm thinking it was the trees, the energy levels, the oxygen, you know? But I'm not doubting that they had the same nanotechnology back in the day. Because with the Tower of Babel, however you say it, being an ancient quantum computer, anything's possible if you ask me. And there's nothing new under the sun. So, with those two in mind, it's definitely possible they had nanoparticles back in the day. Nanotechnology, I mean. Your guys' thoughts below on that. Please, we need to talk about this.
Today I am testing Pepsi on my microscope. So we're just going to do 1 drop and let's see if there's anything in it, because we know that Coca-Cola there is. So I've just put Pepsi Max under my microscope because I know that Coca-Cola has got nanorobots in, and I've left it only for about 10 minutes. And look at this. Look at this structure that's built. I mean, it's only been on my microscope a very, very short time, and this is building all over the slide. I mean, this is insane. So it's all over the slide. You can see the product. You can see the product in the back, the brown product that I put on the slide. But look, this is built everywhere. They're highly lit, and these look like networks already building. Today I am testing.
Hey, I would not be drinking any Pepsi or Cola if I was y'all, man. I'm just saying. I know, McDonald's Coke hits, you know. I love it too, man, with the double fish sandwich, no tartar sauce or lettuce, you know, just plain cheese. I love it. I might eat one in the future, and I might get a Coke with it, but you gotta fight it, y'all. Y'all gotta fight the temptation. It's so good because of nanobots is latching on to our taste buds. Like, yeah, you like this, don't you? Oh my God, we're doomed. You know, yeah, it seems good. There's a lot of helpful things that it can do, but in the wrong hands, what can this really do?
Coca-Cola just signed a 5-year, $1.1 billion deal with Microsoft. 5 years ago, it was discovered that there were fluorescent nanoparticles in Coca-Cola. Now, if I were a conspiracy theorist, I might think there were more to this partnership.
Hey, y'all, Bill Gates he is out of control, man. Just keep going and going and going and going. Damn, Bill, like, you don't know when to stop, do you? Like, man, can you believe they found nanoparticles in Coca-Cola? Like, Bill Gates, AI, Coca-Cola teaming up. Oh, y'all don't believe me? Watch this.
If you're a soda drinker, you may want to pay attention because you may not be drinking it after you watch this clip.
Now, according to reports, Microsoft and the Coca-Cola Company have announced a 5-year strategic partnership to align Coca-Cola's core technology strategy system-wide. So it is said to enable the adoption of leading-edge technology and foster innovation and productivity globally. Using Azure Open AI service, Coca-Cola is currently exploring the use of generative AI-powered digital assistants. Now, did you know they have found nanotechnology in Coca-Cola and in Pepsi products? Have a look at this.
Now, the world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The biodistribution study in major organs indicated that the NPs were easily accumulated in the digestive tract, and they were able to cross the blood-brain barrier and dispersed into the brain.
I mean, it's like, did they even ask anybody's permission if we want to drink nanoparticles? It's like, they need to do a whole new, you know, what's that thing called on the back of you drink something? Where is it at? The nutrition facts. If you got the nutrition facts on that, pretty soon they got to add another line. How many nanoparticles is inside this product? That they need to add that to the new, you know, nutrition sheet, man. The whole thing needs a whole new makeover. You know, they need to be completely transparent on this, if we're drinking nanoparticles or not, man. Let me know your thoughts below on that. We're diving in this one.
We're looking at a cell-sized micro-robot. These micro-robots, made of electronic circuits coupled to minute particles, are so small that they can swim in between blood vessels. Researchers at MIT have created what may be the smallest robots yet. These bots can sense their environment, store data, and even carry out computational tasks. These robots, which are about the size of a human egg cell, consist of tiny electronic circuits that have been 3D printed and react to electronic or magnetic signals. These tiny robots are self-powered and require no external power source or even internal batteries. They can be guided into areas of the body that standard drugs cannot reach, adding a whole new level to drug delivery systems. It may be possible now using this delivery method to bring drugs past the blood-brain barrier. Follow me for more info like this. Are so small that they can swim in between blood vessels.
What does that remind you of? What does this little squiggly thing remind you of? Has anyone seen The Matrix? Let me show you. Let me find it real quick and show you guys. You don't believe me. Doesn't those little nanoparticles remind you of these? Come on, y'all. Those things, this is just their final form, if you ask me. Look at those. Just squirming, doing the exact same movement that these are doing.
Researchers at MIT.
Look, they move identical. The Matrix Sentinels. Humanity was fighting for their life. Remember when they was in the machine guns, shooting them off? You know, they was coming at them by the millions. Damn, did you see that? Oh my God. I don't speak Spanish, but you get the idea. They put it under a microscope. Lord.
Herb Gotti, you might already know this. Oh. Coca-Cola Company and Microsoft announces 5-year strategic partnership to accelerate cloud and generative AI initiatives. I love it. 2 mega corporations merging together like Voltron for the betterment of society and humanity. And just in case you forgot, they own a lot more than just sports drinks. We got Coca-Cola, Sprite, Fanta, coffee, tea, water.
I can't tell if this dude is being sarcastic or if he is actually excited for this. He's like, just put the nanoparticles in my body. It'll charge me up like Superman.
Sports, Dasani, Smart, vitamin water, body armor, Powerade, dairy and plant-based beverages, Minute Maid. I mean, the list goes on, right? Time to get some carbonated beverages. Go pull up a study, you idiot.
He had me fooled. I thought he was going with it.
You don't think that... Nah. Herb got you out. And you be wondering why I detox? This was totally for entertainment purposes only.
Psst. Yo, have you heard? The company that Bill Gates first started, Microsoft, has gone into partnership for a $1.1 billion 5-year deal with Coca-Cola. Allegedly, the agreement reflects a significant...
We got mugs in the UK, everyone all over the world, Spanish, UK, Egypt, we all in agreement that, hey, this is not right. Internationally, we do not support this.
In the digestive tract. And they were able to cross the blood-brain barrier and dispersed into the brain. Questions?
Guys, I know we keep hearing that, but it's critical that y'all understand this. Them things is going directly to your brain. Latching on, these sentinels latching on, and they controlling moving stuff like plankton that was inside SpongeBob's brain that one episode.
Hey, y'all like these? Check this out. I'm gonna show y'all something, but you gotta do a little reading in between the lines, alright? Coca-Cola Company and Microsoft announced 5-year strategic partnership to accelerate cloud and generative AI initiative. As part of the partnership, Coca-Cola has made a $1.1 billion commitment to the Microsoft Cloud and its generative AI capabilities. And these right here are allegedly what's in that. Some people might just be switching to Pepsi. Maybe they should stick to just making drinks, and they should stick to what it is that they do. Hey, y'all like these?
I don't trust neither one of them. I mean, I love a good root beer, but man, it's about maybe time we start making our own. How hard would it be to make our own root beer? I wonder.
My name is John, also Cheese. I do cocktail creation and cooking, and we're working on some root beer, homemade, with my bark, and we're gonna bite at it. We start with whole cloves, a totally on-purpose amount of juniper berries, and a few star anise, 2 whole nutmegs worth of grating, whole cardamom flour, birch bark for the bite, and sassafras, the main flavor of root beer, from the roots of the tree itself. Once we have measured it all, we add it to a dry pot and toast until it's aromatic. Adding water deglaces the pot and stops cooking the spices, and we heat it until it's simmering. Once hot, we add in the same amount of sugar. It might seem like a lot, but this is the base flavor balance. Bring it back to a simmer, turn off the heat, and cover it. Let it sit for 20 minutes to steep it, and strain it out. You can half or even quarter the measurements for home use. A little bit of the syrup and lemon juice plus soda water is all we need. Top it with ice, and you have root beer you made for yourself. Pretty awesome. My name is John, also cheese. I
wonder how good that is, homemade root beer. Has any of you guys tried this? Because we can't be getting these nanoparticles in us, man.
Well then, let's start off making a root beer syrup. Most of these ingredients you'll have at home, be able to order off of Amazon, or could even forage out of the wild. Burdock root grows wild throughout most of the United States, and sassafras can be found pretty much anywhere east of the Great Plains. Both of these roots have great health benefits despite sassafras' controversial history. Interestingly, burdock root is mildly antibacterial, not in that it kills bacteria, but it prevents bacterial biofilms from forming, which is where tooth cavities come from. Now, there aren't any studies that I'm aware of, but how cool would it be to say that root beer fights cavities, even with all this sugar?
Our hot take is that root beer just tastes better when you brew it yourself, so here's how it's done the old-fashioned way. It all begins with a homemade syrup. First, steep the botanicals. There's sarsaparilla, ginger, cinnamon, and more. Then set that aside. Caramelize some demerara sugar. This does require a little patience and is an optional step, but it adds so much depth that we really recommend it. Once caramelized, set that aside. Bring your botanical tea to a simmer. Add salt, maltodextrin, the remaining demerara sugar, and that caramel. You can already see the frothy, creamy goodness coming together in the pot. After boiling, let cool, add vanilla, and now you have 32 ounces of root beer syrup. Stay tuned for part 2.
My question is, if this is how they used to make root beer back in the day, then why are they trying to add nanoparticles and do all this extra stuff to the root beer or pop that they're doing now, or soda to all my people down south? What is the object? What is the goal? What are they trying to do with these nanoparticles? Y'all tell me. It seems like mind control, if you ask me. If I had to give you one answer, mind control. They trying to mind control people.
How to brew root beer, part 2. Now that we've made the syrup, it's time to carbonate. You can use 2 methods. Remove the cap from 1 or 2. How to brew root beer, part 2. Now that we've made the syrup, it's time to carbonate. You can use 2 methods. Remove the cap from 1 or 2 clean plastic 2-liter bottles. Add half of your root beer syrup and top with water, leaving 3 inches of headspace. Add a 1/4 teaspoon of yeast to each bottle and install a specialty cap. Let yeast convert those sugars into CO2 for 12 to 24 hours. And once the bottles are hard, like a store-bought 2-liter, refrigerate to slow down the yeast. If you want to enjoy your root beer immediately, just add seltzer. Start with 1 part syrup to 2 parts seltzer and then adjust to your taste. Store the syrup in the fridge and reach for it anytime you want to pour a frothy mug of root beer. Delicious on its own and even better as a root beer float.
That does look good, y'all. To all my Coke drinkers and Pepsi drinkers, let's see if we can find one for y'all to do it the natural way, because you don't want these nanoparticles inside you.
Husband mentioned that he was craving Coca-Cola the other day, and since we were out of soda, I decided to make him some today. I started by making my caramel sugar by combining some water and sugar, letting that come to the hard crack stage before pouring it out and letting it cool. Once it was all cooled down, I broke it up and set it aside and moved on to zesting my citrus. I started by zesting some oranges, some lemon, and lastly, I also zested some lime. I moved on to grinding up all of my spices. I started by combining some nutmeg, cinnamon, some vanilla, coriander seeds, rose hips, some lime leaves, and some cola nut. Before grinding that into a fine powder, I combined the last round of ingredients, which were some water with different sugars, the citrus that we zested earlier, and we can't forget about our citric and malic acid, and also the caramel sugar sugar we made earlier. I set that into a water bath and let that all come together for about an hour and a half on the stove before straining it through a fine mesh strainer. I popped that in the fridge until it was cold, and then it was time to have our soda. I combined some cola syrup with sparkling water, and this tasted exactly like Coke. And when I made Lucky a glass, he was so impressed that he had to have another glass after. My husband mentioned that he...
Where's the carbonation at? Like, that thing looked it flat, low key. I'm not hating. I'm glad we're looking at healthy alternatives. But if you ask me, that looked a little flat. You know, we need that kick to it. You know, after you drink it, you hit that. You know, if you don't drink a pop or a soda, you don't hit that. Afterwards, is it really pop or soda? I'm just saying. Hey, it looked good though. Now let's dive back on these disturbing theories of these nanoparticles, man. Creepy stuff.
This is a nanobot carrying an immobile sperm cell directly to an egg for a fertility treatment. I cannot believe my eyes. The thing is though, nanobot technology has advanced massively in recent years, and that's just one of their many applications now. You see, these nanobots are around 100 times smaller than a human cell, and they even have little motors that they can control to move around as they please. They can sense their environment, connect with each other wirelessly, deliver drugs to their target area, and store all of that on their onboard memory. There's some studies showing that they can diagnose cancer cells early and even search and destroy them using some of their onboard equipment. They can also act to support our immune systems to make sure that invading cells like viruses and bacteria don't get to where they want to be. Of course, people have some concerns about the implications injecting tiny robots will have on our bodies, as essentially the person who manufactures them could program them to do pretty much whatever they like. Would you let the nanobots in? Let us know in the comments. This is a nanobot carrying an immobile sperm cell directly to an egg for a...
Bro literally got carried. That's ridiculous. Would you guys put nanoparticles for some type of health condition? Let me know in the thoughts below. Me, definitely not. Gotta keep it organic.
Solar panels as thin as paper and as flexible as fabric that could be applied to many different surfaces and used in a wide variety of applications could be available soon, thanks to a new approach to manufacturing solar cells being developed at MIT. A team of researchers out of MIT's One Lab have engineered ultralight, flexible, thin film solar cells that weigh about 100 times less than conventional solar panels and generate about 18 times more power per kilogram. The solar cells are entirely printable using ink-based materials and scalable fabrication techniques, so making them as fast and easy to deploy. To create a solar cell, the researchers coat a stack of nanomaterials in the form of electronic inks onto a prepared peelable substrate. Then, using simple screen printing techniques, an electrode which collects the generated power is added to the top of the solar cell. The solar cell can be peeled off the substrate and then laminated onto a variety of materials. Solar panels as thin as paper and as flexible as...
We need that. They need to put that on every house since we can't get free since we can't get free ether electricity, since we can't harness the ether anymore. We need this. They need to put that on every single roof. That should be prerequisite to every slab of roofing. You know, that should definitely be integrated more.
This sort of nanotechnology to target drugs. So if we attach a specific drug to the nanoparticles here, we could put it in the entire body and it would all be dilute. But if we target an organ with a strong magnetic field, we can actually cause all of the drugs to go.
So if we attach a specific drug to the nanoparticles here, we could put it in the entire body.
This sort of nanotechnology to target drugs. So if we attach a specific drug to the nanoparticles here, this sort of nanotechnology.
So we have a package of meat from the co-op for our supper tonight, and Brian has made a discovery with a magnet. Explain that. Why is our meat magnetized? So we have...
You should be never buying seasoned meat to begin with. Like, They use like the old meat, I believe, to season it, and the seasons ain't the best. You want to do all your own seasoning, man. These people don't know how to cook.
What is that? Maybe we should ask him.
Skeletor!
I'd say he's more like Skeletech.
Skeletech?
I didn't know they came out with a new He-Man. Skeletech on one, ain't he? Truth in plain sight. They gotta show us before they do it. Might as well call Bill Gates the Skeletech now. It just baffles my mind. How can they even build something this small that can do something? It's not like someone sitting there with two tweezers, putting the pieces together. It's impossible. Like, how are they even building nanotechnology?
This nano-injector is used to deliver genes into living cells, and it's advancing gene therapy and genetic engineering. The nano-injector lens is about 100th the size of a human hair. But how does it work? DNA is negatively charged, and the lens of the nano-injector is positively charged. And because of this attraction between the lens and DNA is picked by the needle, and it's delivered into the living cell without damaging it. Scientists are using this nano-injector to create transgenic animals. These are animals that have been genetically engineered to have genes from multiple sources, and they can be very helpful for studying diseases and drug testing. This nano-injector is used to deliver...
Is this fallen angel tech? Is this the technology they used to create their own animals back in the day? This is getting a little bit disturbing and weird now.
Guys, reflection. Your genetics are being controlled through nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is a branch of science and a genetic engineering tool devoted to manipulating atoms and molecules on a nanoscale level. But you might be asking, why is this important? The reason being is because, like Chief teaches us, on a microscopic level, the 50 trillions of cells that make up our bodies essentially consist and are made up of molecules and atoms. See, look, reflection. Science uses nanotechnology like CRISPR to modify genetic structures of the food that's on the shelves in the grocery store. They do this so that they can last longer in the store. You see the ordinary tomato? It got rotten fast. Fruit or vegetables shouldn't be lasting 2 months in the grocery store. Look at this one right here, the Flavor Saver tomato or tomato. This one right here has been used with CRISPR. The genes has been edited in this fruit so it lasts longer on the shelf. Now the problem with the method that science is using today, reflection, is that when you alter the DNA of the food that we intake, you actually change the molecular composition of it, causing it to no longer be organic, but actually a synthesized version of what it once was. So like Chief teaches us, when it comes to human beings intaking GMO foods or GMO beverages, what you are actually doing is altering the DNA or the mind of the being. And like the Most High Chief Babaji teaches us, DNA is the molecular blueprint for all living things, or the mind of God. And you are God. Once the DNA or your mind receives inorganic information for what you put inside your body, you alter your genetic makeup or your God body genes. You become one with that.
Y'all kill me with "We Are Gods," man. He was spitting and then he had to go throw that. I should have known by that damn chain. Y'all kill me with that "We Are Gods" stuff, man. Y'all gotta stop it, man. I get it, man. Like, we are very important, but we didn't create the earth or the moon or the sun. Until y'all make one of those, then tell me you God. But that will never happen. Repent. But I'm gonna let them finish though, man.
That misinformation inevitably leading to your mind or your thoughts being altered and your behavior not being the same no more. And we know that you are what you eat. And scientists like Dr. Bruce Lipton reminds us that modified microRNAs received through GMO foods doesn't get digested to be released through fecal matter. Those microRNAs or nanotechnology is actually indestructible. You can't freeze it out of food, you can't boil it out of food, or you can't cook it out of food. That genetic material is actually picked up by your gut and translated into your bloodstream and alters every piece of DNA inside every cell in your body. Hold on though. Not only that though, CRISPR or nanotechnology is actually being used in gene editing to make designer babies, to make new human beings. You gotta understand, Reflection, everything in our environment is being genetically manipulated for it to be able to sustain an artificial environment. Pay attention, God. We at genetic warfare right now, man. Reflect the light from the Most High Chi Baba G. I love myself. Peace to the gods.
Bro said, I love myself, man. It kills me because these brothers be so intelligent, but it's just like, man, they can't accept that our Father died for our sins, man. They'll say anything but that, man. It's just, I don't get it, man. How could brothers be so intelligent but skip that vital flaw? You know what I'm saying? You seen what he said to Nicodemus. You know, the most intelligent, scholar that hit him with that, he wasn't impressed at all. You know what I'm saying? But he dropped a lot of good points, man. But that's why we keep our head on a straight swivel as soon as people start talking that guys and goddesses, the Ashe and all that. Man, y'all can miss me with all that, man. I'll be the first to tell y'all. We all must decrease so he can increase. You know, you know.
Derna says that their mRNA technology is the, quote, software of life. What exactly are they talking about?
Well, again, we are not using a normal way of making a vaccine. We are putting a code inside of you. It's recombinant, part from nature and part synthetic, synthesized. And so it's a genetic code, and what they're doing is putting an envelope around it with nanolipid particles. It's nanotechnology. The nanotechnology is there to ensure it sneaks past your body's defenses, because normally your body would kill something like this immediately or disintegrate it. So it sneaks past the defenses into your cell and then tricks your cell into making that code, which is literally the spike protein or part of the virus. You'll be spitting out bits of the virus inside of your body.
This might be the closest thing in existence to a real nanobot. This is an article from Interesting Engineering saying this tiny robot can swim in your bloodstream and conduct cell analysis. And they have this little artist rendition of it that is a representative image, because the actual robot itself is a very small little cluster of atoms that's, you would think, couldn't even be robotic, but it does a number of very impressive things. So inside your bloodstream, it can, if I can find the list here, it can navigate through the cell sample, differentiating between cell types and determining if a cell is healthy or damaged. Additionally, the micro robot is programmed to transport a specific cell for further genetic analysis or examination. It can transfect, or I guess inject, a drug and or gene into the captured cell and do a variety of helpful things. It seems about the size of a cell, so it's not a true nanobot. Those would be much smaller than cells, but it's a really tiny robot that can get in your body and very specifically target individual cells. On top of that, the robot can act autonomously, or it can act under the control of a human operator, which I have no idea how any of this works, and I wish they had pictures and video, but they don't. But it looks very cool, and I think that in the near future, if you could have maybe hundreds of these in your bloodstream, then we could do some very impressive biological engineering, so to speak, or at least combat old diseases in new ways. This might be the closest thing in existence to a...
Yeah, that does sound impressive. You got a team of 10 people controlling this magic school bus that go through your bloodstream that can knock out all the bad stuff. Yeah, it sounds cool until it gets into the wrong hands.
Your body is equipped with an army of tiny, high-tech heroes, all working tirelessly to keep you in top shape. Meet NanoMedBots, your very own squad of microscopic marvels designed to monitor, diagnose, and repair your internal health issues with pinpoint precision. These little robots are so small, They can zip through your bloodstream like microscopic superheroes equipped with the latest in medical technology to tackle health concerns before they even make a fuss. Picture this. A nanomedbot detects the earliest signs of trouble, like a hidden cancer cell or a sneaky heart condition, long before you'd even know something was wrong. It's like having a superpowered health detective on the case 24/7. No need for invasive procedures or endless tests. These bots swoop in, assess the situation, and handle it with the finesse of a skilled surgeon. But that's not all. These bots are specialists in targeted treatment. Imagine them delivering a precise dose of medicine right to the problem area, like a GPS-guided medication delivery service. By zeroing in on the exact spot that needs attention, nanomedbots minimize side effects and maximize effectiveness. It's like a personal pharmacist and a highly trained doctor all rolled into one tiny package. And here's where it gets really exciting: life extension. With nanomedbots constantly repairing cellular damage, they're not just tackling issues as they arise, they're actively slowing down the aging process and helping you live a longer, healthier life. It's like having a futuristic anti-aging serum running through your veins, working to keep you feeling youthful and vibrant. So, say goodbye to the days of vague symptoms and endless waiting rooms. With nanomedbots, your health is in the hands of the most advanced technology available, giving you peace of mind and a whole new lease on life.
I mean, it sounds good, but it kind of reminded me of the days when people was living to 800, 900 years. I know. But I honestly believe it was the oxygen levels in the trees back in the day, because there was massive trees, more organics throughout the whole entire earth, and just breathing in that natural, pure energy just really helped with the longevity of your life. Or they could have had this nanotechnology. What are your guys' thoughts below? Because there is nothing new under the sun.
I mean, what if people don't know what CRISPR is? Please explain it in layman's terms.
Yeah, so CRISPR is a term, actually was invented in my department partly, so I know it pretty well. It's bacteria have an immune system that cuts invaders, that cuts their DNA. And what we've done now, as scientists, we've now utilized that system, take it out of the bacteria, and we use it to create designer mutations, designer gene changes in animals and also in humans. So it's a bacterial immune system that corrects genes, and we use it all the time now. It's actually, what's interesting about it is we've been able to mutate genes for many years, but this is dial up a gene mutation. You can choose exactly where you want to make it.
CRISPR is amazing because it allows us to precisely edit the DNA in living organisms, including in people and plants. With CRISPR, we can change, remove, or replace the genes that govern the function of cells. This means that we now have the ability to use CRISPR like a word processor to find, cut, and paste text. CRISPR, amazingly, has already cured people of devastating disorders like sickle cell disease, and it's created rice plants that are resistant to both diseases and drought. We now have the ability to use CRISPR to edit entire populations of tiny microbes called microbiomes that live in and on our bodies.
I'm looking up CRISPR, not crispy chicken. Damn, that looks good, man. It looks a little spicy, but damn, I want some. What's going on?
I just finished vacuuming my yard, and you can see I've picked up a lot of the terraforming sensors that the Galactic Federation has put in my yard. They're putting these out here. They're trying to change the land as we have it here. They don't like what we have, and they want to fix it and make it more like their home world. We don't know what that looks like yet, but we do know that their moon base is up there, and it's not actually the real moon. It's a projection, but we can get into all that later. But yeah, I've collected all these. I urge everyone else to do this. Vacuum your yard, collect the sensors, and if you take a little bit of Dawn soap and just throw it around, it'll really help mess them up when they land. See, look, there goes another one. Dropping them right now.
Oh my God. Hey, he might be on to something, man. I'm not gonna knock him. He might be on to something. I'm not knocking him. That's all I got for today's episode, man. Your boy on time with these videos today. I just want to appreciate you. I just want to appreciate all you guys that made it this far. You watched a video from beginning to end. That really shows you really support me, not just some, you're a real rider on these waters. You know what I'm saying? You get on the submersible right with me. I'll give you some dap. I appreciate you for jumping on these waters with me, all the way from the end to finish. The code word is, so I know you are a real one. You made it all the way through. The code word is blue beam. If you made it all the way, the code word is blue beam. Shout out to all the real ones. I appreciate y'all. If you're new around here, welcome. We got a whole bunch of other videos you can go back, watch, check out. I've been dropping these boys daily. So if you missed an episode and you haven't seen me, I got some bangers lined up in the back. This one was a banger. I tried to do a peaceful, fun-loving episode, this one, but it took a turn for the worse. Oh, man. But it's your boy Jesky Chuck signing out. Peace and love. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. I love you.